Welcome back. Today we are getting started on some more siding work on my alley house project. You can see the one side here has brick, the other three sides have LP SmartSide. We've gotten a little bit done so far, but we're going to get going on the rest of it. So first is we got a little more taping on the zip sides, and then this side still needs an air and water barrier on the exterior drywall. So as we've mentioned, we did not use zip system on this side. This is exterior type X drywall. This is a 2-hour fire rated wall because it is on a 0 lot line. So it holds up to weather just fine, but it is not a water and air barrier, and we definitely need that before we put the siding. So we are going to use the Proseco R-Guard fluid applied, and you can either roll or spray, and we're going to try spraying it. It's our first time using it, so we'll see how it goes. First up, I got the joint and seam filler, so I'll smear that on the joints. We're going to need some scaffolding. As you can see, we're going to need more than that. It's about 20-ish feet, a little over 20 to the very top. So 2 floors. So we will get that started, and then we got some tape to touch up, like I said, so we'll get that all done, and then we will start getting the siding applied. The windows on here actually went in quite a while ago. I think we've talked about how I broke my foot in other videos, and that really delayed things by over 2 years here during the recovery and then follow-up and getting busy with other stuff. So that siding down there is actually all that was put on before I broke my foot a couple days later. So the liquid flash when we put these windows in was actually still tacky and has pretty well sealed around the flanges, so it has mostly kept the water out over that time, but I'm not going to rely on that for my air and water barrier long term. I'm going to tape over the flanges now, and the corners aren't sealed as well, so we need to do it either way. So we will get started on that. All taped up, and as you always hear everyone say, roll the tape. It's really important. In case you don't know, there's a wetting action that takes place that actually activates the acrylic and basically pushes it into the substrate. So the slight unsmoothness of the zip, if you've ever felt it, actually plays a part in that. So for these 2 windows here, I actually ordered them as separate windows. I wanted a little thicker trim between them than I could get with a mold unit, and it's also quite a bit lighter to pick up only 1 window instead of 2 packaged together. So there'll just be a corresponding trim piece up the middle that is the same as the surround and should look good. So same as before, get these taped up. That takes care of the windows on this side. We'll move on to the other side. We're getting things started up here for the fluid applied air and water barrier, and we're getting started with the Proseco joint and seam filler. You can see I just squeezed on some in the joints there. I'm working up the wall here almost to the top, so squeeze it on, and then I'm just spreading it out with a little plastic trowel like this. Nice and easy. It doesn't need to be neat, just needs to cover, so that'll fill any of the gaps. And then I'm going to hit all of the screw holes up here as well, because we re-screwed a lot of this up and down, so we'll just get those filled. The air and water barrier doesn't really fill holes, so you need to bridge it basically. So we'll get this spread out. It really doesn't take that long to dry, but we're not going to get back to this for a couple days, so it'll have plenty of time to cure up. And then we'll get the sprayer out and we'll give this our first try, and we'll see how it goes. It'll be a new experience. We've sprayed paint before, should be pretty similar, so we'll see. And then once that's on, we can wrap tape to the zip on the other sides, and then we can get the siding started, which I'm excited for. Alright, we're starting to get the spray wrap rain screen on from Proseco. That is an interesting color. So we were originally planning to spray it, and that seems like a really easy way. But the day we have to do it, a cold front came through last night. It has gotten a nice autumnal coolness, but it's really windy today. And with as thick as it is, I don't know if that would actually be a problem for spraying crazy, but we're not going to push our luck. It's also the first time we've ever used it, so we just grabbed some rollers. We're going to roll on. We're going to see how far we get. I do need to get some more of the joint and gap filler to work up. I think I have enough to get the rest of the joints right up near the top, but with having to move screws around, change things, I've been hitting all of the screw holes, as you can see down lower. We'll continue doing that. And we also don't actually know if one 5-gallon bucket is going to be enough, so we'll see if we need to order another. This is right about what they were saying it should cover, but they do say with exterior drywall that, you know, it kind of depends. So we'll see, but so far so good. It seems to be going on pretty easy with a roller. Definitely a little bit more time consuming than spraying it, but they do also say that you should back roll it when you spray it anyway. So I think it'll work out pretty well. I'm gonna go move our outriggers and boards up and get the seams up at the top filled up, and Dave will continue rolling down here. We'll keep moving along. At this point, I think the decision to roll it on actually has gone pretty well. It's really not taking too long, a little bit longer, because even though we have the scaffolding, Dave's working off a ladder because I was working up top off the outriggers to get those joints sealed up. Definitely going to need to order some more of the seam filler, but we do look to need 2 coats. There are some small pinholes here and there, and I think that's just due to the porosity of the exterior drywall, but that really shouldn't be a big deal with as quick as this has gone. So we'll keep working up. We'll lower the we'll actually go up to the top, do the top, and then lower the outriggers. So I'm up top now. We got the first coat finished up on the entire wall, and then the first 12 feet, so 3 panels high, already has its second coat. And it turned out to be easier to actually take the outriggers off and just use the pull on the roller from the scaffolding, give a little bit of distance and maneuverability, and didn't really take long at all, which is great. So the second coat was going on really quick because it's not just soaking in really quick. You kind of sealed up the porosity of the drywall. So gonna work back across this, hit it all with the second coat. We'll need to come along and get some of these screw holes still once I get some more of the flashing gap filler, and then we'll start at a to be determined day, maybe next week, on the siding and get the rain screen on, get the siding worked up from down there all the way up to the top, and then we can start working around the back wall as well. So good to get this part mostly knocked out. So an important part of the air seal that is often missed, and for water, is the concrete to framing connection. So we're just using some Zip liquid flash here, filling in the gaps and covering some nail holes at the same time. So we also, yeah, it'll be easier to walk around, but have also done the same thing on the side here. So finishing the last spot, the other 2 sides are already completely done because they have siding and brick. We got our water resistive and air barrier in place now, and we got the bottom sealed up. You can still see the tape is there at the concrete. So now we're going to get our rain screen on. We're using the Mortaravent 1/4 inch rain screen on this side, and you can see we used, I believe, the 1/2 inch behind the brick. You can see how that nicely leaves a gap from the mortar buildup for drainage and air circulation. So this is pretty easy to attach. We just roll it out and put cap nails in, and once we got that on, we can start getting the trim boards on, the water table board, and work the siding up to the top. Alright, so 3 years ago when we started putting this siding on, right before I broke my foot, we started in this corner over here by the stack of siding there, And we got part of that done. We have since gotten a little more done, but that was our starting point, and we need to go level across here because once it gets above the doors, of course, it will join up. So we just took our handy dandy grade laser and got our level mark transferred across. Got a little blue mark down there, so then we'll just take another level, put a pencil line across, and then that'll allow us to know the level going up the side as well. So hopefully we did that correctly, and we'll have a nice happy marriage up there. It is the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and I was hoping to use this weekend to work on the siding so we can get that side finished up, get the scaffolding down, but Mother Nature had alternate plans for me. Nice little Alberta clipper coming through, so looks like we could get 2 to 3 inches of snow or so. It hasn't been super duper cold ahead, so as you can see with the sun being daytime, the streets are not covered, but it does look nice, and as a snow lover, I am certainly not complaining about some snowfall. I think 2 to 3 inches out of this storm is about the same amount we got all of last season. It was a terrible winter for snow. Maybe this winter will be a little better. It's also a nice day to get the Christmas decorations up, so kind of nice to decorate with some snow falling outside the windows. So looks like we get at least 1 or 2 days this week ahead that will be warm enough to be working outside, at least working outside in any sort of productive manner. I got plenty of things I can work on inside my house that are not exactly video worthy, but definitely want to get out here if we can, at least 1 or 2 days. I think we can probably get the siding up in 2 days. I don't know, we'll see. Limited daylight hours this time of year, of course. But otherwise, this sure is fun to sit and watch and enjoy all the prettiness with everything covered in a blanket of nice, clean, white snow. Well, as I said, getting my Christmas decorations in place, getting my tree up, getting the lights on it. And yes, I do tape lights into the windows. These are aluminum-clad wood windows. They'll get trimmed out one of these days. Builder never finished his own house, right? So they are very tall. The second floor is really high off the ground. Years ago, I started just taping the lights inside the windows because it's way easier than trying to do something outside. And I just kept doing it because it's super easy. Like I said, it's maybe a little bit of redneck engineering there, but if it works, it works, right? So got the beautiful snowy scenery going on outside, and it has actually picked up here a little bit. Beautiful. Starting to cover the street and sidewalk a little bit, but it looks like it's going to be winding down in another hour or so. So probably not too much on the pavement, but I'll take it. And how about another look out back just because I want to? Like I said, I love snow. I wish we got a whole lot more of it here. Been a tough few years. But every so often, we'll get a halfway decent storm. So things seem to be winding down a little bit, but delightful winter wonderland out here. If visibility were better, we'd be looking at the Gateway Arch and the downtown St. Louis skyline. But that is a little over a mile away. And we can see maybe half a mile. So light to moderate snow. We have another snowy day, so looks like we won't be getting any work done today, but that's okay because like I said, I certainly enjoy the snow. Doesn't look like too much today, but a rare snow falling on top of already existing snow. That doesn't happen much around here, unfortunately. So looks like a good day to work on some estimates. So not a complete lost day from accomplishing things, just not really generating much in the way of video content because I don't think you want to watch me work on estimates. So we'll go downstairs and get started on that fun and enjoy the snow falling outside the window. Beautiful fluffy flakes falling back here. Looks like we get a high of about 50 degrees Fahrenheit 2 days from now. So I think we're going to get at least one day out here with some sun tomorrow, even with temperatures below freezing. I bet a good chunk of this melts off. And then we can get back up on the scaffolding there and get siding going on up. Well, we got one warm day this week and the great melt off is underway. You can probably hear the water drip dropping down. So there were a couple, or well, way more than a couple screw holes still here that we needed to patch over. So working up doing that. We need some tape out there. Remember, always roll the tape. And we are going to work up the layers of the rain screen fabric there because our corner board and then trim board up here are both 16 feet long, so we need that all on first. We'll get those on, work our way back down, and then we get started on the actual siding finally. Alright, so we got a chunk of our rain screen in place and we're working on getting our trim pieces on, and like I mentioned, they are all provided with nail fins attached, which is a good way to make it easy. We will shoot some little trim nails through this side. It ends up a little bit loose, and then we're also going to have a caulk joint here with the brick, but it's decently tight as you can see. So we'll use some big stretch or maybe find the exact color that Sashco has to color match it. We'll see how that goes. But you can also see we got all of the remainder of the screw holes flashed over and still got some more of the rain screen to put on, but this is more than enough to get us started and gets us high enough to get the 16-foot long trim pieces in place, which is important for getting the rest of the siding on. And you can see maybe down there we'll get our first bottom board, kind of a water table type board, but it also gaps it or puts the correct angle on it. So down here we got the corner piece and the nail fin got a little bit mangled there, but you can see how it is pre-formed, and then we can reach out far enough here, it wraps right around, got the nail fin on both sides. So we are also getting ready to get going on this side. We do need to put the trim around the overhead door there still, but it is certainly moving along. It's a shame we won't be able to get back out here tomorrow. The high temperature is forecast to be about 25 degrees Fahrenheit, so not the greatest conditions, and like 30-35 mile an hour wind gusts. So I'm gonna hang out inside again, but we're gonna fill in this little piece as well. That's the piece for it right there. And then that's probably as high as we'll go on the rain screen because it's just not important to get the top of it on. We're gonna get started on the actual siding part. And that looks like what we're getting in today. We are losing sunshine quickly and the wind is really kicking up. So call it a day, clean up our mess. Next time, like I said, siding starts going up.